I'm Janine. I'm from the Arroyo Time Bank, and I'm here today at the Madison Casita in Pasadena. And I'm doing a workshop on DIY non-toxic cleaners and toiletries that you can make from common garden items and things you would probably find in your pantry. We're doing a really simple one, something that I felt like I could just kind of whip up, and this is sort of part of my everyday kind of thing. And so, but it's just like one step to sort of being resilient. And this was definitely my first step, and it was sort of the like the gateway DIY sustainability thing that I was like, hey, I can do everything. You can make everything. It's just one of those things where you pick up something and you're like, you know, like, well, what is this? You know, like, what do I need it for? And then when you think of it that way, everything becomes much more simpler. It's like a little key that unlocks everything that you do around the house. So, you know, I think, you know, my husband Guy and I were, you know, walking in Target or something, and then like I was like, oh, we have to be green. So let me
green products, which
yeah, exactly. And then and you know, being like, well, you know, it's important, so let's go buy this 7th generation thing, like a window cleaner. I'm like, then it's like, it sort of like dawns on you, this like kind of paradigm shift of like, why can't I just use vinegar? Like, we used to use that. Like, so anyway, that's like the first thing, and then from there, it just kind of, you know, it's a domino effect. And like this morning, and I was prepping this stuff this morning and kind of like made some pre-batches of things, and it was like this thing of like, oh my gosh, I'm really doing it. Like I was making a couple things, and then I was like, oh, you know what, it's time for me to harvest my kombucha. And then I was like, oh, and let me toss the bread in the oven that has been rising all night. And I was like, oh, well, this kombucha, you know, the bottom of the kombucha mother is, you know, it's kind of yeasty, so let me put that in the compost, and might as well go check if the chickens laid any eggs today. And I was like, my life is radically different from a year ago. Like, I didn't make anything a year ago. So it's like, this is why one of my, you know, favorite things, because it was like my key. So, anyway, so one of the things that I make sure to do with all of the anything I use in the house and anything that I make for myself or the body is that if you don't feel comfortable ingesting it, you shouldn't put it on your skin, and you probably shouldn't use it on any of your surfaces that your food will go on or your hands will go on. So, you know, that's kind of like my litmus test. So you might not feel comfortable using everything that I use, but I feel like I could ingest everything on this table. So that's like my rule of thumb. And then, oh, and another thing, and this is, who's done permaculture? A little bit. So one of the main little things, or one of the little principles or tenets that they teach you and they say over and over again is stacking, is making sure everything has like multiple functions. So, and I was on this gardening forum last week, and someone even said that they were talking about bone meal. Because now that I've started eating meat, and so I was like, okay, make stock, and I'm like, maybe how do I make bone meal? So, anyways, and the person who posted how he makes bone meal said, yeah, you know, if something doesn't have at least 2 functions, what's the point? So, kind of always look around and see how many things you can get out of it, and go through your kitchen cabinet and all of your stuff, and sort of like, if something's too specific, it probably isn't worth it. Like a toilet bowl cleaner is like, that's just for that. Like, what is that? You know, why is it just for toilet bowl cleaning? So, anyway, so some basic ingredients that we're gonna use.
How do you make bone meal?
So, he tosses it in. So after he makes his stock, he tosses it in his like a wood fire, like in the backyard, a fire pit, and makes it into ash, and then puts the ash into the compost. So then it's all the bones are in there. It's a bone ash. But someone also said that if you have a Vitamix or a wood chipper, you could. There you go too. Okay. So there's a couple ways to skin a chicken and use its bones. So yeah, just some basic ingredients. Oh, dang, I forgot one of my three favorite things, but it's okay because I've mixed it into almost everything else. So I said on the post that it would be more than just vinegar and water, but there's a lot of vinegar and water because it's useful. Baking soda, of course, and this is my four of the. Those are like the three, it's vinegar, Castile soap, which you can make yourself. It's just olive oil, really, and lye and stirring. Vinegar, Castile soap, and baking soda are really like the three sisters of cleaning. And I add a fourth sister, which is vodka, because I think I'm okay with ingesting it, but you might not. But I feel like it's a kind of a really excellent disinfectant, and it cleans like a dream. And I buy the cheapest vodka you can get, and usually the cheapest is actually made in the USA. I don't know about this one, but this one is Norwalk, Connecticut. And Romanoff is also like $7 for like a gigantic bottle, and it's also made in the USA. So stick to the bottom shelf or the back of the bottom shelf vodka. Let's see, I have some chalk, which is, I just use this for a couple things, but this is for the toothpaste, but it's just calcium carbonate. It's just it's the chalk wrestlers use for their hands. You can find it at hardware stores, I think. Glycerin, which is, I bought this bottle, and you can get this at like the CVS, I think. But this is actually glycerin's a byproduct of biodiesel. So if you know anyone who is doing biodiesel, they're going to have a ton of glycerin. So you can use this for lots of different things. Some people use it in food products. It's a humectant. This is what I use my toothpaste and how I make my toothpaste. But find your friend with a biodiesel car. Let's see, lots of herbs. These are all from my garden. I plucked these this morning. I might pass them around, have everyone take a whiff. And then rinds from oranges, and these are in season right now, of course, and plentiful in Southern California. So I use a lot of citrus rinds. This is beeswax. It's also like La Cañada, it's pretty local. But beeswax. What else do I have on the table? This is pretty optional. This is, there's a couple optional things. Again, you'll figure out what you want. But stevia, this is for the toothpaste. So I think that's it. So, just again, nothing fancy. Spoon, measuring cup, bowl, mortar and pestle. Nothing too fancy. Welcome, Fred. Come on in. This is Fred, everyone.
Hi.
We were in a permaculture class together, and I. Dating out.
What is permaculture?
That's so funny. It is it's the name is derived from permanent agriculture, and it's like the study of systems and ecosystems, and it's basically mimicking the systems that are already in nature and applying them to not just the garden, but to sort of the way you do anything, really. So that's why with this, it's like, multiple functions, just like in nature. Make sure everything's easy. You don't want to put anything, not too many inputs from the outside. From the outside, you want things really handy. Like herbs from the garden, nothing exotic. This is all you can get at the corner store, really. I think next I'll just briefly touch on the most useful plants in my garden anyway. I think all my plants are useful, but things that I have all year round, and something to think about that you might want to have in your container, on your patios or in your garden. Just standard stuff: mint, rosemary, kaffir lime leaves, French lavender. Actually, let me pass these around. But these are all, you know, just standard good things to have.